Greetings, participants. Today's session, we are going to be learning about functions in Python programming language. So, before we further go to the class, let us understand what is the agenda for today's session. We are going to be looking at what is a function, what are the different types of functions, built-in functions and the user-defined functions, how to create them and use them, and let us see some examples of functions in Python. Let us start with the first thing, which is what is a function? Now, when we talk about a function, this is a concept which is available not only in Python programming language. Any of you are familiar with C, C++, or Java, or any other programming language, there is a idea of functions available even there. So what is function? Function is nothing but a name given to a group of statements. So why do we even write functions? We write functions because we don't want to write the same set of code again and again, so that what we can do is we can write it in one place and we can call it wherever it is required. So that is why when I talk about functions, they promote the idea of basically reusing the same set of code by calling it at the different locations. So why do the programmers even write function? It allows programmers to develop a block of code that performs a specific task. So when I take a function can be returned for completing a specific work or a task. So one more thing what we can do is whenever we are talking about writing a function, we can also pass parameters into the function. That is, we can send data into a function, and using the data, the function will do something and will return a value back also. Okay. And returning a value is not always compulsory, but then we can code the function in such a manner that it is capable of taking in an argument and returning a value. Now, whenever you learn any programming language, remember the efficiency of the programming language to a large extent depends on the whole lot of built-in functions which are available in that language. So when we talk about Python also, you have lot of built-in functions. We will come to it a bit later. But then the example for some of the functions I have given here. Okay, so reverse could be a function name, fact could be a function name, Fibonacci could be a function name, which is generating a Fibonacci series and so on. Okay, so basically the whole idea behind function is a function is nothing but a name given to a block of code or a set of code. Okay, and every function which we write in Python is capable of taking in an argument and also returning a value. So let's look at what are the types of functions. Now, when we talk about the types of functions, there are built-in functions and there are user-defined functions. So let's try to understand the difference between a built-in function and a user-defined function. Let me explain that with the analogy. Now, the analogy which I'm talking about here is the availability of, let's say, we want to eat noodles, we can just go and buy cup noodles from the market. Now, what do we do if I want to use it? All I have to do is just pour in some hot water and I just straight away start eating it. I don't have to do any of the cooking process. I don't have to do anything. I can straight away start consuming it the moment I buy it, the moment I add hot water into it. In the same way, when I talk about built-in functions, we don't have to do anything. All we can do is whatever function which is available, we can just directly start using it. All we have to know is whether that particular function requires any data to be passed, and we should also understand whether that function is capable of returning any value. That is all we have to know about that function. But here, when I talk about, again, coming back to this analogy, each of these functions come with different flavor. In the same way, when we talk about different built-in functions which are available in any programming language, each one of them will have a particular purpose or it will complete a specific task. Okay. Now let's go to the next category of function, which is a user-defined function. Now, again, I'm going to take the analogy of making noodles. And what we do is, suppose if I want to make noodles from scratch, I don't want to buy cup noodles from the market. So, what do you have to do? You have to buy a packet of noodles from the market, maybe a Hakka noodles. Then you have to boil water, add the noodles, cut the vegetable, then give the seasoning and mix all of them. And finally, you will get noodles of your choice. The flavors are decided by you, the contents are decided by you, and so on. It is made according to your requirement. In the same way, when I talk about a user defined function, you start writing the user defined function from scratch. You write why you are going to be writing a specific user defined function. You're going to write all of that explanation, and then you're going to say what are all the variables which will go into it, what is the data which goes into it, does it the function return any value, what is the whole purpose of writing the function. The entire functionality of developing that user defined function is completely resting in the hands of the programmer who's writing it. Okay, so that is your user defined function. So I hope all of you understood the analogy between making noodles and the difference between a user defined function and built in function. Now, this analogy holds good for any programming language, not only for Python. But let us dive into the specificities of Python programming language here. So I start off with the built-in functions in Python. Now, as I said, the built-in functions are functions which are available already, and all I have to do is just straight away start using them in my program. Sometimes you have to import certain modules in order to use some functions, but we will talk about modules in a completely different class. So we are not going to be referring to modules here, but the idea you should all be, at least familiar with. Now here again, I am listing few of the built-in functions which are available in Python. I hope most of you know the usage of all of these functions. And as and when you are developing programs in Python programming language, you will be required to use many more built-in functions of Python in your program. Now let me show you the next slide. I'm going to show you a sample user-defined function in Python. Okay. Of course, I'm going to be spending some time on how to write a user-defined function from scratch. Okay. But here I'm just showing you a sample. These are all the different steps in the function which is written and a function which is called. Okay. Now let me again tell you about what are the basic steps in creating user-defined functions in Python. So how to create a user-defined function in Python? There are two important steps. Okay. Now, those of you who are familiar with other programming languages like C, we will say there are three steps. First one is we will declare a function, then we will define a function, then we will call a function. But in Python, there are only two steps. The declaring a function part is not there. You have to just create function and you have to call a function. That's all. Now, how will you create a function? First of all, remember, whenever you are talking about creating a user-defined function, you should know why you are writing that particular function for. What is the reason behind writing that function? The functionality of it should be clear to the programmer, and then only they start writing the function. Then, def is a keyword which you have to use for creating a function. Def is the keyword which is used for defining the function body. Okay. Then the immediately after the def keyword, you should follow it with a space and the name of the function. So the name of the function here in this example is test underscore function. Since I'm talking about creating a function, you should put this parenthesis here because this only differentiates a function I'm talking about. Then give a colon and indent the statement and write the entire function body for that specific function. Now, here again, those of you who are familiar with other programming languages, let's say like C or C++ or even Java, you will know that whenever we start writing a function slash method there, we will we will start off with a flower bracket, and then we will end the function definition with a flower bracket. But in Python, there is no specific block of code which is separated that way with the flower bracket. The only separation is the indentation. So the indentation becomes very, very important in Python here. So I write def for defining a function, follow it up with the function name, specify a colon here, come to the next line, indent the statement, and write the statements for the function. It can be any number of statements. Now, in this case, there is only one particular function statement, which is print hi from function. That's all. There is one print, simple print message. That is all is there. There is nothing else. But you can write 1 or 100 statements there. There is no problem. Okay. Once you finish writing a function, you have to call the function. So how do I call the function? You have to call the function with the name of the function. That's all. Okay. Now in this particular example, we are not talking about a case where data is passed, but I will show you examples where data is passed to a function later. Okay. So this is how do I call the function? Just give the name of the function and put the parenthesis again. The particular function gets called. Whatever is the statement for that function, it is hi from function, that is going to be executed for you. Okay. So this is how these are the two steps in creating a user defined function in Python. Okay. First of all, create a function by using the def keyword, then call the function by specifying the name of the function. That's all. Okay. So let's understand the next important thing, which is what are called as arguments. Okay. Arguments are very, very important. Okay. Now, how can I pass the information into a function? The information can be passed into a function through what are called as arguments. Okay. Now, whenever you're talking about writing a function, you can be using any number of arguments. There is no problem. Okay. So here, how many arguments are there? There is only one argument here, but it can be any number of arguments. There is no problem. Okay. How do I specify the different arguments? Separate them with a comma. Okay. So suppose if there was an argument after f name, you will put a comma and specify the name of that function. Again a comma, specify the name of the function, and so on. Okay. Now here again there is only one statement for your function, and what are we doing? We are taking the argument and we are printing it. That's all. Okay. Now sometimes you will find that there is a usage of the term argument and parameter used interchangeably whenever you're talking about. Basically, both of them refer to the same thing. Parameter is something which is passed when the function is called. The argument is something which I am writing here. Okay, that's all. There is they both basically they both mean one and the same. There is nothing to get confused there. Okay. So this is with respect to writing a function definition, taking in a argument. Okay. Now let's look at certain example programs for explaining each one of these different topics here. Okay. So let me start with the first one. What is it? It is a idea of passing arbitrary arguments. Okay. How do I pass arbitrary arguments in Python? So when I said that any number of arguments can be passed, remember it can be a list. It can be a complete list of arguments which I am going to be passing. So how do I pass it and how do I access it? Okay. So in order to do that, let us take example for each one of it. So for arbitrary argument, what is a keyword argument? You can pass arguments as a key and a value pair. Okay. Let me again give an example for it. The third one is a combination of arbitrary and keyword arguments. Okay. The fourth one is you can decide to pass a default parameter. Again, default parameter is a concept which is already available in C++. Any of you are familiar with C++, you would remember this default parameter concept. But let me explain it here again with an example. Then you can have return value from a function. Now, unlike other programming languages, Python is capable of returning multiple return values. It's something very different from other programming language. Let's see an example for that also here. And what is the use of pass statement? That also we'll see. Okay. So let's take one by one example for each one of it. Okay. So in order to explain this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you to Google Colab. Okay. And I'm going to be running my programs in this collaboratory only. Suppose if we are using a Jupyter notebook, you can run the same in the Jupyter notebook. Okay. So what is the first example I'm talking about? I'm talking about arbitrary arguments. Okay. So let me write a simple function definition, and I'm going to be explaining you the concept of arbitrary argument. So how do I write a definition, function definition? It is a def keyword followed by the name of your function. Okay. So I have written the name of the function. Now we know that suppose if I write, three arguments here. Okay. Let's say x1, x2, x3. Okay. So I'm going to write them x1, x2, x3. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to print that. Okay. X1, X2, X3. That's all. Nothing else. There is nothing more in this program I'm doing. I'm going to call this function. Okay. Now, what am I doing is I'm going to be passing three arguments. What are they? 2 and 3. Okay. So basically what is happening here is when the function is called, I'm passing these three values 1, 2 and 3. Now what's going to happen is x1 will have the value 1, x2 will have the value 2 and x3 will have the value 3. That is how the arguments which are given when the function is called and when the function is defined, they both are going to be matched. Okay. So suppose if I'm going to run this program. Okay. So it's printing 1, 2, 3 on the screen. Now, what is this example of arbitrary? Now, this is not arbitrary argument. Okay. What is arbitrary argument is I'm going to be passing, I don't know how many arguments I'm going to be passing. Okay. It can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. Okay. So when I'm not very sure about the number of arguments I'm going to be passing, what I can do is I can write something like this. Okay. This is called as an arbitrary argument. That is, I'm saying star and I'm mentioning some argument value. That's all. Okay. Now, when I'm going to be calling, now how will I call this argument which I am passing? Okay. Now, let's say you want to print the first argument which you're passing. Okay. So what I can do is I can write 0. Now, when I run this program again, so what's going to happen is it's printing 1. That is the first argument which is passed. So suppose if I say I'm going to be printing this, okay, it's going to be passing the second argument and so on. So in the earlier example, without arbitrary argument, what we have to do is, suppose if I'm passing three arguments, then I have to mention all the three of them as the names here and associate each of these value to the names directly. But when I use arbitrary arguments, I can specify one argument, okay? And I could be passing any number of values here and I could be printing all of them. But the presence of arbitrary argument is differentiated only by the star symbol. Okay. So if you don't put the star symbol, then you cannot consider it as a arbitrary argument. Okay. So this is an example for the first one, which was the arbitrary argument. Next one is, let me tell you an example for keyword argument. Okay. So what is a keyword argument? As I said, you can pass values as key equal to value pair. Okay. So say for example, I am writing like this. Okay. DAF test function. Okay. And I'm going to be taking three arguments, x1, x2, x3. Okay. These are the three arguments. Now, what I am doing is I am going to say print the let's say I'm going to be printing any value, let's say x3, okay? I'm going to be printing the value of x3, fine. Now, when I call the function, normally what happens is when I pass the values here, the three values, the first value will be associated with x1, the second value will be associated with x2, and the third value will be associated with x3. But when I use the keyword argument, what I can do is I can pass the arguments in any order. Say for example, I can say x3 equal to Norway, okay? Then x1 equal to Sweden, and x2 equal to Finland. Okay, I don't have to use a specific, what to say, the order. Okay, normally the order is followed, but when I use this keyword argument, you don't have to worry about the order. Now when I'm going to run this program, what's going to happen is it's printing the value of x3. What is the value of x3? X3 is nothing but Norway. Okay, but x3 is the last value here, last argument here. But then when I'm passing the value, I'm not using this order at all. I'm using any order. Here it is x1, x2, x3, but here I'm using it as x3, x1 and x2. Different orders I'm using. Why? Because I'm using a keyword argument idea where arguments are passed with keyword equal to and the specific value. Okay, this is the example for your keyword argument. The third one was something which combines arbitrary argument and the keyword argument. Okay, so let's take an example for that. Okay, say I write arbitrary keyword argument example. Okay, so what am I going to do here? I am going to again write a function. So let me call it as test function. Now, for arbitrary argument, we just put 1 star, okay? And for keyword argument, we did not mention anything. But when it comes to arbitrary keyword argument, you have to mention 2 of it. 2 star symbols you should mention, okay? So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to say the first game of Tokyo Olympics was, okay, something, whatever is the first game, okay, I would take it as, let's say, whatever is the value which is coming, I'm going to print that. Okay, how I'm going to pass this argument? Test function. Now this is the place where I can pass any number of keyword argument. Okay, so I don't have to. So here in this case there were 3 arguments. I passed 3 key equal to value pairs. Okay, but here I put a star star, so I can pass any number of key equal to value pairs. Okay, so say for example I'm going to say first equal to shooting, and last equal to, let's say, athletics, something like that. Okay, I'm not sure whether this is the order which is followed, but all I'm interested in is showing how this arbitrary keyword argument works. Okay, so when I run it, what is it saying? The first game of Tokyo Olympics was shooting. Why? It is printing the value which is associated with the first key, and what is it? It is shooting. So I can follow it up with any number of key equal to value arguments, and all of them can be handled by this particular argument which I am mentioning here, the games argument, the one with preceded by this double star. This is capable of accessing all of this arbitrary keyword arguments. Okay. The next one, the next example which we are going to see is a default parameter example. Okay, so I am going to be passing a default parameter value. Okay, so let me write this again. I am going to be writing a test function. Okay, this time what I'm saying is country equal to ROC. Okay. I'm writing country equal to ROC, and I'm going to be printing a value. I am from, and I'm going to be printing whatever is the value of the country which I am taking it. Okay. Now, what is the idea of default parameter is, if I send some other value, then that value will be taken. Okay. If I'm not sending any value, sorry, if I'm not sending any value, then the default value will be taken. So the function can be called with no argument or with one argument, but it can be only with one argument because there is only one default value there. Okay. So maybe I say Japan. Okay. Suppose if this is the case, then what's going to happen is, when I'm going to, of course, I should put a colon here. Okay. So I'm done it. Let me run this. Okay. When I run this program, see, I'm from India. I'm from ROC if there is no argument which is specified. Finally, I'm from Japan because Japan is the argument which I have passed. So for the first one and the last one, I have passed argument. But for the second one, I have not passed any argument. So it is taking the default parameter value. What is the default parameter value? The default parameter is ROC, standing for Russian Olympic Committee. Okay. So this is also done. The next one is, I'm going to be talking about return values. Okay. Now, if you are again familiar with any other programming language, you would know that the return values are passed back by using a return keyword. So even in Python, it works the same way. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to write a function for calculating the factorial of a number. Okay. I'm writing a function for that. Okay. So let me write it. This is my function. Okay. And what do I do? This is the one which has got the factorial f equal to 1. I'm writing a, okay, let me separate it. Okay. I'm writing a while loop. Okay. What am I doing? F star equal to x. And what am I supposed to do? Reduce the value of x by 1. Okay. And done that, and I'm going to go back and return the value of f. Okay. Because that is the answer which I want to return back. And what is the function which I'm going to call it with? Let me call it with some FACT of 3. Okay. So what am I doing? I'm writing a factorial function. It is taking only one argument. What is the argument? Which is whichever number whose factorial I want to find. Okay. So that particular value is passed here. So x is going to have the value 3. F is the variable which is going to store the factorial, final factorial answer. Okay. So what I'm doing is, I'm basically finding, as long as the value of x is greater than equal to 1, multiply f equal to f into x, reduce the value of x by 1. Once this particular value is calculated, return the value back to the place from where the function was called. Okay. Let's see how this program runs. Okay. So when I do it, so it is returning me the value 3. Okay. So suppose if I change it and I make it some 5 here. So what happens? It's going to return the value 120. So what is the use of, how do I return a value? I return a value using this return keyword and mention the value which needs to be returned back. Okay. Now, in Python, what you can do is, you can not only return one value, you can even return multiple values. Let's say I write f comma x. Now what happens is, when I run the program, it's not only going to return 120, it's returning the value of x also. It doesn't complain, it doesn't give you an error, it doesn't throw anything is wrong, nothing like that. Okay. So it's going to run the program by returning the multiple values which I'm asking for it to return. Okay. So, but then if I don't do it, then it is going to be returning a single value back to me. Okay. So this is the use of returning values in Python. Values can be returned using the return keyword. Okay. Finally, the last one is the usage of the pass statement. So what is the use of pass statement? Pass statement is nothing but, suppose if I have, I want to write a function, but I don't have any statements there. It's a dummy function. Then you still have to write the pass keyword there. That's all. That is the only use of the pass statement. Okay. So now pass statement will not only be used here, it will be used in multiple other places in Python as well. But remember, the only purpose of writing or calling a pass is that there are no statements to be executed. But when maybe I want to fill in the statements at a later point of time, I'm writing it as a skeleton structure, whatever, you still have to write it as a pass there. You cannot just leave it with a empty statement. So if there are no statements to be executed, just write it as pass. Okay. But when I call this function at a later point of time, so you will see that there is nothing to be executed there. There are no statements to be, there is no output because there are no statements here to be executed. So even if there are no statements, you still have to write the pass keyword there. Okay. So this is the use of the pass statement. So let me go back to this particular slide and see whether all of these points are covered. Now you can see arbitrary arguments. We did it when I want to pass multiple arguments. Okay. And I want all of them to be handled by a single specific argument. I could be using star and the argument value. Keyword arguments are nothing but when the arguments are passed as key equal to value pair. Arbitrary keyword argument is a combination of both of that. Default parameter is you can specify a parameter even when you're defining a function, you can specify a value. If somebody wants to change it, they will pass a value. If they do not want to change it, then they can call a function even without specifying an argument when a default parameter is mentioned already. Okay. And return value can be, the function can be made to return values, not only one value, multiple values by using the return keyword. Pass statement is used for creating dummy functions where there are no statements. You still have to write a pass function. Okay, pass statement, sorry. So these are all about functions in Python. Let's practice more of them. Start writing some simple functions for accomplishing tasks, and we will be on the road to understanding or mastering over functions in Python in no time. Thank you. Thank you all for your patient listening.